Cross up to Queensland now and catch up with National Senator Matt Canavan in Rocky. And Matt, I just saw you on the screen there with the TV proudly powered by coal. I thought I'd check in my little app here and see what's happening in Queensland at the moment. And it's over 80% coal just at the moment. So I think we can safely assume you've got a coal-fired television there, right? Yeah. Now tell me then, I'm so fascinated with the AUKUS deal. I think it's a great thing for the defence of our country. If anything, it should have happened 40 years ago to go to nuclear subs. But doesn't this make it absolutely obvious that we need to develop a domestic nuclear power industry? However big that is, we've got to start work on that now to help build up the technology and expertise we're going to need.
Well, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek of me, Chris, but I'm somewhat hopeful that maybe this is just a surreptitious way to do that. If we park these 5 Virginia-class nuclear submarines in Sydney Harbour, get a really long extension cord, that would be nuclear power to the mainland. In fact, they'd be about a power plant, the 5 of them. There'd be over 1,000 megawatts lined up together there. But isn't it absurd that we would allow nuclear energy reactors to sail around our coastline, but they would remain completely illegal to build on land? We are way out of step with the rest of the world on this, so I agree with you. Hopefully this will see a reconsideration of this illogical ban. I do think more seriously, one of the great things out of this AUKUS agreement is for that process, at least for that endeavour, the nuclear power industry endeavour, is the requirement that we will have to manage the high-level waste from the nuclear submarines. That kicks down a massive big hurdle to having a nuclear energy industry in Australia, because if you're going to already be storing and processing the high-level waste from the nuclear energy reactors from a submarine, why not then also actually have the reactors on shore and you use the same facility twice? You get economies of scale, and we've already dealt with all the safety and other issues required. It's
an absolute no-brainer, because we're mining the uranium, processing it to yellowcake, exporting it, and as you say, then we're going to be using offshore power cells and disposing of the waste here. Why would we miss out on all the benefits to be had in the middle? And crucially here, you've got Labor politicians like Penny Wong and Anthony Albanese, who spent the best part of their teenage and adult lives opposing every stage of the nuclear fuel cycle, now full on, not just behind the AUKUS deal and nuclear power subs, but on Australia dealing with that waste and the like. So surely, the dam wall has been broken there.
Well, I think that is actually the biggest hurdle now that remains. When I talk to some of my colleagues in the Labor Party, many of them actually see sense on this issue. They just can't say anything publicly because of the strident opposition of the likes of Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong, who cut their teeth in the 1980s marching against nuclear energy. So for the good of the nation, you just got to hope that the Prime Minister and other ministers that rekindle those long-lost youth days get over that and realise they've got to put the national interest first, that the world has moved on. I certainly think, talking to young people in Australia, they don't share the same paranoias that a previous generation may have had on nuclear energy. They're quite welcome and open to the discussion about nuclear energy. Of course, it produces zero carbon emissions, but we just need something. We need something that keeps the lights on. The Australian Energy Market Operator, the regulator, warned us just the other week that we are 8,000 megawatts short of reliable power over the next decade. And keep in mind, that's reliable power. It can't be, this gap cannot be filled by solar and wind. We need something that can be on all the time to do that. That's a lot of power. It's about 4 big coal-fired power stations. And so if we're not going to build coal, if we're not going to build gas, nuclear is really what is all that's left.
Just very quickly, big topic, but Lawson Broad, the CLP president in the Northern Territory, has quit over the Voice. You've lost Andrew Gee from the Nationals as well over the Voice. Doesn't this show that this issue is so difficult for all parties to deal with, that it should be a personal choice, should be a conscience voice for coalition MPs?
Well, I think we should be able to come to party positions on major issues like the Voice. I don't even know Lawson Broad personally, but in the case of Andrew Gee, he really did have or had the option of a conscience vote within the coalition, within the Nationals Party. You have to go to the backbench. There's a price to be paid for that. I've paid that price. But you're not kicked out of the party. You're not excommunicated. So that liberty would have been available to Andrew, but he didn't even explore such options with colleagues, unfortunately.
No, you're right.
And
he
the
didn't
case
need
of Lawson Broad, again, I'm not quite...
Sorry to cut you off, but you're right. He did not need to quit the party, but he chose to do that. And we'll come back to that conversation later. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Appreciate it. Senator Matt Canavan there.